Right, the first thing we're going to walk through is the different shapes in the Autodesk practice quiz. And for each of these, we're going to start with a brand new part. The first question on there says, draw a cylinder that is extruded 3 inches in length. The diameter may be any size you choose. Once finished, change the cylinder color to a shade of red or pink. So I need to first start a 2D sketch. I can pick any plane that I'd like to start on. I usually pick my XZ plane so it's going up and down. Since the diameter can be any that I choose, I'm going to choose my circle tool. Make any circle I want. I can either pull out and let go and click here again, or I can enter a size if I'd like. So if I wanted this to be 3 inches across, I could enter a 3 on the keyboard, press the enter key on the keyboard. I want to put it back in my home, and then I'm going to hit finish sketch. Okay, this is where it has to be 3 inches extruded. Okay, so I made a 3-inch circle, but I also need to make sure to follow those directions. I'm going to hit extrude. Right now it automatically defaults to 1. I can change this to 3, or I can change it up here. Put the number 3 in, hit OK. And again, that home brings it back into our screen. Then I need to change the color. The fastest way to do that is I'm going to click extrusion 1. That takes into account all areas of this cylinder. I'm going to use the middle color wheel, pick anywhere in the red or pink area, and then I can hit the check mark, and my shape is done for the first question. The second question is asking us to make a 4-inch cube, and then once finished, change the color to a shade of yellow or orange. So I'm going to use the little home in the bottom left-hand corner, click part. Okay, each of my parts remain on the screen just like you would an internet browser with lots of tabs open. I'm going to hit start a new sketch, pick a plane to draw on. I need to do, using the rectangle tool, I'm going to click 1 time on the screen. I'm not holding the button, and I'm just simply going to pull my mouse down. I'm not hanging onto the mouse or a button right now. I'm going to enter the number 4 on the keyboard, hit the tab key on your keyboard, enter the number 4 again, and then I'm going to press the enter key. Okay. Then I'm going to zoom it back in here so I can see what I'm looking at, and I have a perfect 4x4 square. I need to finish this sketch, and then I also, because I'm making a cube, have to make sure that I extrude 4 inches to make it a complete 4-inch cube. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the model menu on the left. I'm going to click extrusion 1, click my middle color wheel. I have to pick anywhere in my orange or yellow. I'm going to select that, check mark, and my cube is done. For question 3, draw a rectangular prism that has a length of 3 inches and a width of 4 inches. Once finished, change the rectangular prism to any shade of blue. Okay, so I know I'm going to start my sketch. I'm going to use my rectangle tool, click 1 time, not holding that button, but move my mouse down. I need to make sure that my length is 3, my width is 4. My length is going to be from left to right on the screen. So the first number highlighted in blue is actually going to be your width. So I'm going to enter the 4 first, hit the tab on the keyboard, put the number 3 in, and then hit the enter key. I'm going to see that I have my rectangle. I'm going to hit finish sketch. And then it didn't give me an extrusion, but for this to be a correct 3D shape that I can change the color of, I get to choose anything I want. And because this doesn't matter, I'm going to leave it at the 1-inch default. Okay. Again, bring it back into my screen, click extrusion 1 in my model menu, hit my middle color wheel. I need to have any shade of blue, so I can pick anywhere in there, hit the check mark, and my rectangular prism is done. The fourth question says to draw a sphere with a diameter of 6 inches. Once finished, change the sphere color to any color of your choice. So I'm going to start my sketch. This one is going to be really important that you complete 3 steps in the same area before hitting the green finish check button. We're going to pick the circle, and it tells me that this diameter has to be 6. So I'm not holding my button. I'm going to use the number 6 on the keyboard. Then I'm going to hit enter. Again, bring it into focus. I have a perfect 6-inch circle. I need to then switch my tool to the line tool. I'm going to start on the top and then click down to the bottom. Watch the color of the circle change It goes from kind of a black to like a navy purple color. I'm going to click one time. I'm going to watch for that to happen again. It lets me know that I'm clicking exactly on the outer edge of that circle. Okay. Once I have that line, the third step is I have to use the trim, which is under the modify area at the top. I hit trim, and I need to trim away half of the circle. It doesn't matter which half that I trim, so I'm just going to choose a half. Okay. Now it leaves this line right here. This is a thinner line than what you see on the other side. This is part of this dimension. It has no effect on your shape. I'm going to hit finish sketch, bring this back into focus, and I have half of my circle. This time I'm going to use the revolve. I'm going to click revolve. I need to select this center axis. It's going to spin it around into my full sphere, bring it back into focus, and I get to choose any color I want. So this time I'm going to hit revolution 1, click the middle color wheel, and choose a color. My sphere is done. Now, question 5 says draw a cone of any size and change the color to any color of your choice. For the cone, we're going to hit start sketch. We're going to pick a plane. I need to use my line tool this time, and I'm going to utilize these axis lines to help me make sure I'm drawing straight. To draw a cone, you have to have a right triangle. So I'm going to start at the top, come up. It doesn't matter what size this is, so I'm just going to come straight up. Notice that it says 0 degrees. That means I'm coming exactly straight up. Okay, click one time. Again, don't hold that button down. Come down to the other line, click, and I'm going to come back over to the side. Notice that it turns green when I get back to where I started. That lets me know that I'm completing that. Notice I have a black line, and a blue. The blue is your hypotenuse. Okay. When we finish this, when I go to revolve, I do not want to click the blue hypotenuse. I want to use either of the black lines. So I'm going to hit revolve. I could click this one or this one. It doesn't matter. We're going to click one of them, revolve it all the way around, and you can see that we do have our cone. I need to change the color to any color of my choice. So again, I'm going to pick revolution 1, choose the middle color wheel, pick a color, and we're finished with our cone. Question 6, it says draw a half sphere of any size and change the color to any color of your choice. We're going to follow the same procedure that we used for the full sphere. We're going to start with the circle, except this time it doesn't matter how big it is. So I'm going to draw a circle, switch to the line tool, start at the top, go all the way to the bottom. I'm going to trim away half of my circle and finish it. Now this time when we hit revolve, the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to spin it all the way around, which is 360 degrees. Since I only want half of that over in this box that popped up, I'm going to change that to 180. When I change it to 180, it only gives me half of a sphere. So once I have 180 typed in, I can hit OK. I'm going to pick revolution 1. And again, I need to change this to any color of my choice. And that completes your half sphere for this question. The last one is a triangular prism. Okay? So for the triangular prism, it says draw a triangular prism of any triangle size that is extruded to 2 inches in length, and you get to pick the color of your choice. We're going to use the line tool again in this one. We'll start a sketch, pick a plane. I can make any kind of triangle for this one. So I can simply click once, click twice, click a third time, come back up, make sure that turns green. It lets me know I'm stopping where I started, and I have a triangle. I'm going to hit finish sketch. We're going to extrude this one, and I need to make sure that it goes to an extrusion of 2 inches as it asks. Then I'm going to hit OK. Bring this back into focus, and I need to always make sure that I change my color. So I'm going to hit extrusion, pick the middle color wheel, choose a color on the color wheel, and I hit the check mark. This then completes the entire 7 questions that you'll see on the quiz. The only difference between this practice quiz and the real one is that I will change any of the numbers that were given in this. So for this 2-inch extrusion, I will change that in the quiz. I will still ask you to make these any color of your choice or a certain color, but it will be the dimensions that I change in the actual quiz.